together for quite some time. Now, you're thinking we could have a lot of goals in this one because of the surface or because of the different levels of team? What are you thinking?
I think both. I think you look at Wilmington scoring 14 goals, so they're going to have to go straight out. They don't shut a lot of teams out. And I think that they're going to really go forward, and they have somebody who can. If they have a changer, it's Jamie Watson up top, and he can score some goals. So I think that he's going to be looking, and I think they're going to be allowing some gaps. They've allowed 14 goals in 10 games, so 1.4 is a lot in USL2 to come in here and hope to keep this one low scoring. So I think there's going to be some action.
All right, good look here. Still got some fans coming out for this one on what has definitely been a wet day all day long. In fact, downtown Cary, parts of Raleigh also had a lot of rain. And nonetheless, we're ready to play here. I actually called Keith Jenkins, who's the athletic facility supervisor, and he said no worries. I mean, just like what you said, because of the sand, we're going to play. And that's indeed what we're doing. As a good look around here on field two. Ahmed Diallo came off the bench on Sunday against Minnesota and took 3 stitches right above the eye. So that's what that Band-Aid's all about. But he stitched up and really had such a great game in the game against Richmond. Do need to explain that his number is normally 19, Charlie, but you remember couldn't find his jersey just before the Richmond game, and once you wear a number in the U.S. Open Cup, you got to keep it.
Got to keep it so you don't hide people, I guess. So
right.
Number 45 again, and I guess Schulte's thinking about throwing balls in because I don't think he's wearing those gloves to keep his hands warm.
There you go. Take a look back in a second at the captain, Mark Schulte. You saw him moments ago. He is wearing, that's got to be what it's all about. And that's the kind of inside information only Charlie Slagle can provide. All right, we're underway. Of course, the Wilmington Hammerheads in all blue from head to toe. The Carolina Railhawks coming out with their power orange kits, orange from head to toe. I do want to remind everybody that we are shielded a bit from the scoreboard, so we'll do our best, Charlie and I, to keep you updated on the minutes as well as the score. It's 0-0 because we're just underway. Watson was hoping to find Luke Kremelmeyer, and this one goes long. There is the gloved one. Schulte will drop it over to Devin McKinney. Now, we talked about in the open, if people are just tuning in, about the fact that Martin Rennie choosing to go with the young, athletic outside backs for this one.
Young and athletic outside backs and big, strong center backs, and you'll see that. Interesting, only one person up front, and it is not their leading scorer, Jamie Watson. He's playing on the right side, and they're playing looks like a 4-5-1, and very pushed back 4-5-1.
All right, Diallo comes crashing into Sattler as Sattler takes a look over at Diallo. And there is Dale Sattler. You heard the stats coming from Charlie Slagle. Been very consistent in the back. But his defense has certainly let some goals in. 14-14, goals for, goals against. Tollison finds Gilkerson, far side. One of the things we saw, again, in the Richmond game, Gilkerson showing some ability on the ball, and that's been working a lot with Coach Rennie on just that.
Yes, he did very well last week against Richmond, and I think that was showing that he can come forward from the outside back, and you want that out of outside backs.
All right, throw in. Good tackle there by Cunliffe. Of course, Cunliffe got a red card in Thursday's game against Portland. Sat out the Minnesota game. It wasn't going to affect this game anyway. The Open Cup, completely different set of way the cards follow. They only follow within the tournament. In fact, the Chicago Fire is the team that both these teams will be looking for, and even the Fire have some players that have some red card status going on. That'll be great, though. Obviously, a key part of this game is the fact the opportunity to bring Chicago Fire either here or Wilmington.
Right, that would be great, getting the MLS teams, and that also evens things up a little bit. I think we're going to get the handball here.
That was Bagley, who looked like he climbed over Devin McKinney, and they called the foul inside the box, so that'll allow Caleb Patterson-Sewell. Now, let's take a look at it here, Charlie.
As he comes up, and then there's a little bit of a push, and then the ball is coming down, and he uses his arm to slow it down.
All right, that was the call. So now it's dropped back to Amir Lowry. Lowry's on it now. It goes out wide to Gilkerson. He'll find Watson.
Now, Dean, talking to David Irving before the game, he said the longer you could keep it tight, or probably 0-0, and it looks like coming out in this 4-5-1 that's very defensive oriented. You look back, and there's everybody's back except for Bagley.
The flag comes up. I'm not quite sure about that one, as even the defense was intact with the line. They kept on playing. The center ref certainly didn't question it as well, but nonetheless, the flag goes up.
So it must have been offsides.
Yeah, it's got to be, right, Charlie? Spoken like a true coach. Bagley looks like he's going to be battling with Schulte and Tollison in the back, as you pointed out. Jamie Watson, who wears number 77, or 17 rather, is lurking more in the middle. I believe it is 77, right?
Yeah, it is 77. Gilkerson just threw that ball straight to Watson. Not a good thing to do on the throw-in.
Here's Solly. Good ball from Solly. This one in now to Franks. Two former Wake Forest players, and Amir Lowry for Carolina Railhawks also involved in that play. So, you know things are going well down at Wake Forest when 3 players involved in the same play, all from the same school.
Yes, they have had quite a 3 years as they have gone to the College Cup for 3 straight years and won it once. There's another one on the bench for Wilmington and Stephen Kerfman.
Yeah, and Stephen Kerfman not expected to play, though. Apparently tweaked his back a little bit. Hoping to see him, as played for the Railhawks last year. McKinney with the throw-in, trying to drop it to Watson. Watson hoping Kremelmeyer can get there. Now here comes Hamed Diallo. Good job to get to it. Hamed Diallo very active early on this one. Kremelmeyer's back. Cunliffe's open. They didn't see him at first. They'll drop it back to Palladini. Palladini always able to keep the ball even under pressure. As now Watson will drop it back to McKinney. McKinney finds Lowry. Lowry then switching gears. The Railhawks seem very calm. Good touch from Gilkerson, but then knocked away as Gilkerson tried to first time it to Cunliffe.
It looked like it was a good touch. It just wasn't hit hard enough. The pace wasn't on it and got stolen. But they did move it from side to side and change the point of attack.
Charlie, from where I sit, knowing the Hamed Diallo situation, that effort early on is a good sign, because when he's showing the effort, usually good things happen.
Well, he's got such talent, and I don't know if he can last 90 minutes at a great effort, but that's why you have subs.
That's right. 6th minute as 0-0 here. Carolina and Wilmington. Ryan Solly, you got to figure he's going to be active with something to prove. It was let go by Martin Rennie, and he's on it now, number 17. He'll get it out left to Franks. Franks crosses far side all the way across. Gilkerson will head it out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick back to Wilmington.
Usually don't like to do that. You usually don't like to head the ball back if it's come across the center of the park, back across from where it came. You like to keep it going, but he headed across the front of the goal and out of bounds for a corner kick.
So corner kick for the Hammerheads. Caleb Patterson-Sewell has got 4 shutouts already. This one driven low, no problem, as Luke Kremelmeyer let it go out of bounds. And you got to believe David Irving would like a little more out of his corner kicks than that.
Yeah, you get a corner kick like that, you do want to get something out of it.
Tollison with his left foot trying to find Diallo. This one won back by Briggs. Mark Briggs wears the number 8 jersey, and looks like he'll man the middle of the field. 8 along with Zeke Dombrowski. Say hello to his brother Chad out in Milwaukee, where most of the Dombrowski clan still hangs out. Foul called, and back to Carolina. What are you seeing so far, Charlie Slago?
Well, a little bit of a defensive posture by Wilmington, but they will look to counterattack, and the 4-5-1 is definitely a defensive look. This is a good ball right here, though.
Yeah, good ball from McKinney to Kremelmeyer, and he also can't cross it. Not the best clearance, but luckily it went right to Ryan Solly, the former Railhawk. Ooh, here's a hard tackle. Good job by Mark Schulte, but one back now by Carolina, and that's Zeke Dombrowski, who will try to go long. He is able to find the head there of Bagley, who tries to spring it wide, and Gilkerson will run it down. Can he keep it in bounds? He can, but right back to Wilmington. Far side, Wilmington will lose it. There's Cunliffe playing better defensive soccer of late, and this one will go right out of bounds over in front of Martin Rennie and Jake DeClute, the 2 coaches for the Carolina Railhawks.
Looked like a good play passing the ball back there, but technique-wise, it went out of bounds and give the ball back to Wilmington.
Here's Hamed Diallo. Not as big and strong as Sauyu Bundu, but so good with the touch. Equally effective when he can get the ball. Good move back in by Lowry around Ryan Solly. Palladini. Oh, what a play into space for McKinney. He'll get going the right back. McKinney's still got Palladini. They will look for him. He's becoming that player that they're always trying to find. That a rare mispass by Palladini. Now back to Lowry. Cunliffe, hard tackle.